right, let's take a look at some of the trades over the last several days that our MTF indicator has been throwing and see where our profit levels are on these things. So first one we're going to look at is FTM USDT. That's Phantom USDT. All of these are traded on the Binance exchange. Currently, that's where we have our indicator and alerts set up to monitor. But the MTF deviation signal works on any exchange, any pair, and any stock or commodity. Anything that's traded on a chart on TradingView currently, the MTF deviation tool will work with. So you can set it up and set up your alerts. We currently have a Telegram channel that will show you the alerts that are coming in, and you can also set them up yourself on TradingView. So first one we're looking at is FTM USDT. This trade came in on the signal came in on the 7th of July at 12:40 p.m. The next candle is where we start our tracking on, because the signal comes in at the end of the previous candle. And let's take a look at what we have on this one. So immediately this signal came in and we went to 3.89% profit within about an hour and 35 minutes. It's like it pulled down and bled underneath it for quite a while here and is staying down there. When we do our USDT settings in using an MTF deviation, I personally will typically set them at about a 1.25% and then set them up for a trailing profit so that we can get the most out of the trades. That is not financial advice. You should do your own research, and you should make your own financial decisions. Trading cryptocurrency is risky, and we are not financial advisors. As you can see, if you'd stayed in this trade after the 3.89%, we had a pretty hefty drawdown of 3.84%, so almost mirroring the profit on that side. Here's another signal. This one came in at, it's a tier 1 that came in on the 8th of July at 9:13 p.m. So signal comes in at the end of the candle, and we start at the beginning of the next candle when we would have bought. Of course, sometimes liquidity doesn't let you buy immediately at that mark, so it's very important to make sure that you understand that sometimes you might not be able to get into the trade with lower volume coins like this. This coin, in about 6 hours and 14 minutes, popped up to a 4.51% profit. Now, it's important to note that it also had a nice drawdown before it got to that profit, and it looks like the drawdown there was at about 1.17%. Obviously, you should be setting your stop losses on these trades. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Some folks trade these with dollar cost averaging, buying more in as they drop. But you've obviously got to be careful about where you set up and how you set up your trades. Only trade what you can afford to lose, and do your own research. So we had another signal come in on the 9th at 11:05 a.m. And this is Eastern time, by the way. And so we would have taken it on the next candle. We had a drawdown immediately after that of about 1.64%. So depending on your take profit settings, you may have pulled out of that sooner. Looks like we had about 6.45% gain in about 9 hours and 27 minutes. So this coin gave us a really quick gain there in about 9 hours, but a nice sizable percentage. Staying in this one a little longer through this morning, you could have gotten to 15.96%, but you would have had to ride out quite a few dips here. So you'd have to be a pretty brave soul to stick with this one, because these lower liquidity, lower volume coins will bleed out and drop you down far greater than where you started. So we had another signal come in shortly after the previous one. It's a little higher up, actually a pretty decent amount up over where that one was. We'd started on the next candle because our signals fire on the close of the candle. And this one would have gotten you to immediately a 5.09%. And let's see if this, where this would have taken us on this nice pump we had here, 7:13 this morning. That would have gotten us to about 14.45%. So we had another signal come in at on the 10th at 2:17 a.m. I would have started that trade there, and we would have had a nice drawdown really quickly at 3.38%. So, depending on where you set your stop loss, you might have been out of this trade. Take your losses and move on to the next one. Did in 6 hours and 16 minutes hit 2.82%. And let's see where we ended up on this big pump here at the end. If you stayed with this one for 1 day, 4 hours and 55 minutes, despite all the drawdowns, you could have taken 19.2%. Again, that's a great percentage gain, obviously, but you just have to be careful because these guys will bleed down on you. I had a tier 2 signal come in also on the 10th at 3:17 a.m. So we would have started this one here. We would have hit 4.22% profit pretty quickly. And then again, riding it out, you'd be at 20.75%. And so we had another one come in at 4:50 a.m. on the 10th. The 10th was a very busy day with a 3 hour and 42 minute profit of 4.02%. And this big pump would have taken you to about 21.06%. So I'm going to combine these two in together because they're so close together. We'll take it here about in the middle of those two. And you would have scored a 4.55% profit within 1 hour and 48 minutes. And see if we had a quick level of profit. Let's be more realistic since that was a wick. 3.99% in 2 hours and 56 minutes. So that's a nice quick gain. Same on the tier 2, 4.01% in 2 hours and 30 minutes. And again, had you stuck with these through to this, well, let's take a look at that real quick. Let's take this tier 1 and check out this first pump. 12.79% in just 12 hours, so half a day to get to 12.79%. And while there's a bit of a drawdown here to 1.27%, you may really have stuck with this trade. A lot of potential there, and obviously it pumped to there. And then this morning would have taken you to 23.89% on that trade. So obviously if you've got a good stomach and you can stick these trades out, the returns would have been nice. But of course, we don't know what's going to happen in the moment, and it could have been a complete bleeder that took everything you put in. So again, be careful out there. That tier 2 hit 3.97% in 2 hours and 30 minutes. So this one went on a nice rise here at 1:35 p.m. on the 10th. My wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Karen. 3.37% in just 14 minutes. But it came back down to the same level, and both of those trades would have taken you to about 12.2% in 7 or 8 hours, or a little over 8 hours, or 8 hours and 42 minutes. That's a nice return in that shorter time frame. And then back to the big pump, 23.25%. Take a look at his nulls USDT, NULS USDT, just under 1 a day. But the problem is, and it's actually been even more active over the last couple of months, but the problem is, are you going to see the level of gains that you want? So here's our first signal that came in at on July 7th at 2:14 a.m. And we would have taken the next candle. And so the first quick profit would have been about 0.87%. And then we're left watching this thing bleed out until it gets to here, which would have taken you to about 0.94%. And so as you can see, there's not a lot to be gained here. That looks like that's the peak. Maybe that one got a little closer. But for the most part, Nulls is playing down low. Let's see if this got us. I'm going to mark a line here and see if that got us any higher on the profit level than where we were with that previous one. Not looking good. No, way below. Okay. So as you can see, this one underperformed, and you might have been stuck in that one or trying to DCA with some pretty serious drawdown in the end of the at the end of the day. The next signal on this one was on the 7th at 11:51 p.m. and your fast profit would have been a 0.75. 2 in a row. This coin is not performing well. Let's do this. Skip ahead and look at some of the more recent ones. So 1.53% in 1 hour and 18 minutes. This tier 2 is going to be even better. 3.28% in 51 minutes. And so while you'll have some that perform better and can pull up the averages for the rest of yours, the fact is that you're running a risk with a coin like this. So this one hit 8.57% in 1 hour and 52 minutes. I would say on the whole, though, right now, Nulls is not performing well. Jump into ONG USDT. We've had a few trades come in on this one in the last week at a level of pretty decent frequency that have turned profit pretty quickly. And this one is from July 5th, 3.19% gain in 54 minutes. Nice fast turnaround on that one. And if you stuck it out a little further, 7.60% in 8 hours and 58 minutes. Doesn't look like it's fast on the gain side, but you'll see, let's see here, peaked out at 1.55% in 2 hours and 48 minutes. That would fit my 1.25% Bradbot settings, and only a really minor drawdown on that one, so 0.30%. And of course, if you stuck it out, you'd gain a little bit more at 4.03% in 11 hours and 18 minutes. This one came in on the 9th, 11 a.m. And within 7 minutes, you would have been at 3.38% profit. Again, low liquidity, low volume means that you sometimes may not get those prices. So maybe you had to settle for 2.8%. But the fact is that that's a nice, quick, tidy profit on this one. If you stayed in it, you would have experienced a really quick drawdown here of 0.85%. Had another pair of signals come in here. I'm going to take the tier 1 because it would have been the first one and it would have been the lowest price. And you would have been looking at 2.28% profit in about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Stick with it a little bit longer and you looked at 3.17% profit, again with no drawdown on that so far. This is the first drawdown we see on this one at 0.34%. And I don't think that's going to max over where we were, but let's take a look and see if that gets us anything higher. 4.62% in 1 day and 1.5 days. So I think you would have probably been better off taking your profits here and getting into some other trades, using that money for other trades. But you know, that's up to you. Set your own settings, make your own choices. I am not your financial advisor. All right. So this one's starting on the 10th at 8:21 a.m. Hit 0.65% profit, but that wouldn't have triggered any of my take profits yet. Within 13 hours and 32 minutes, though, we would have been right up at 4%. And in 17 hours and 20 minutes, we would have hit 6.02%. And if you were able to catch that wick, you would have hit 7.81% in 19 hours and 54 minutes. So now we're looking at a higher volume coin. We're looking at Cardano, ADA USDT. Going to see a lot less signals typically with a coin like this because it is higher volume. But we had a signal come in on the 8th at 10 p.m. And let's see where this one took us. So out of the gate, minimal profits of, well, not minimal, it's a decent amount. That's almost double our standard 1.25% take profit setting. And this one hit 2.35% in 11 minutes. Sorry, folks, doing this live, so I'm going to shrink this thing down a little bit. So in, just 5 hours and 48 minutes, this thing wicked up to 5.2% profit. Another signal came in very shortly afterwards and popped up to 3.25% right away. and looks like it would have maxed out at about 6.41%. In USDT pairs, we had just under 17,000 signals in the last year. Here's another one, 2:59 a.m. yesterday, 2.42% gain in 36 minutes, a little bit more there, 2.95% gain, 2.9% gain in 1 hour and 39 minutes. That's a fast turnaround for a little bit more of a little more stable coin. And if you wrote it out for 13 hours, you would have hit up to a 5.82%. And this one came in at 7:47 a.m. yesterday, and within 16 minutes through 2.68% profit. So I really like the way ADA is performing lately. Again, it could change at any minute and you could be bleeding out, but 5.86% profit in 3 hours and 39 minutes, and a 4 hours and 44 minutes would have taken you to 6.47% profit. So again, ADA looking good, and then looks like we had a peak profit on this one of 9.15% in 8 hours and 28 minutes. We're looking at ZRX-USDT. That's 0x-USDT. If I'm not mistaken, this is the one that does the integration of decentralized exchanges for Ethereum-based coins, but I could be totally wrong. This one has had some pretty crazy volatility, has thrown a few signals, and does have some fast turnarounds. Again, you though can see that while you get these fast turnarounds, if you decided to wait this one out a little bit, you got some drawdown and some crazy ups and downs. So you got to have a good stomach to ride this coin. But let's look at the numbers, and you would have been looking at 2.77% in about 19 minutes on this signal. And let's do it for shits and giggles, as we would say. So that one, we know we're in the 10% range there. Let's see what this one got us to. I'm not even going to go to the top of that wick. 19.29% profit in 2 days and 6 hours. Let's take a look at this one on the 7th at 3:37 p.m. That's a pretty quick gain right there of 10.64% in 5 hours. You had a drawdown of about 1.53%. Your fastest didn't hit 1%. You could have hit at 2.25% in about 3 hours and 16 minutes. And of course, a lot in between, 8.97, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with that 10.57%. And then in 12 hours, you could have gone all the way to 18%. Had a signal come in on the 8th, and it went to 5.98% in 6 hours and 27 minutes. So again, I like the way this one trades. 2.46% in 2 hours and 1 minute, and 6.58% in 11 hours and 16 minutes. Next signal came in at 11:05 a.m. on the 9th, and immediately went to 1.73%. So if you're on a 1.25% take profit, you're closed out there, or you do trailing. 4.88% in 7 hours and 9 minutes. Now we did have a little tier 2 come in here. So you got a lot of lower buy-in price. Some people might DCA on that. And you're at 2.14% in 54 minutes. You would have gone to 5.51% in 6 hours and 40 minutes. This crazy coin. And got a signal yesterday at 12:37 a.m. And this drew down pretty steeply, 2.7% drawdown. So again, if your stop loss is below that, you're still in this trade. And, you're getting a 1.22%. Looks like really to get anywhere, 2.20% takes you about 11 hours on this one. 15 hours, you're at 2.85%. But then there was some more to be gained here with an ultimate top profit on this one at 7.41%. Had a tier 2 come in a little below that, and close out at 2.31%, not close out, hit 2.31% in about 3 hours and 28 minutes. Got you to 1.28% in about 2 hours and 2 minutes. And in about 10 hours in, you could have hit 3.5. 14 hours in, 4.14. And peaked out so far. Again, it's only been 36 hours or so total. One day in 3 hours, you would have gotten to 8.69%. At IOST USDT, first one we're going to look at is the 6th of July at 6:50 a.m. This one starts up here, immediately gets to a 1.92% profit. In 1 hour and 47 minutes, it went to a 2.61% profit. Where did this take us on the 7th? So 3.75% profit in about 18 hours. So July 6th through to the peak here. Is that the top? Is that the top? That looks like the top, so we'll take it. And let's see what we got. 7.8% profit in 2 days, 20 hours. So decent profit there. I have this one on the 8th at 9:54 p.m. and 1.59% in 26 minutes. Then if you waited it out for another 3 hours and 23 minutes, you're at 2.83%. And we're peaking here at 7.60%. Now, this one doesn't look as attractive. And here's an example of why you got to be careful on these trades. This one peaked out here at 0.44% in 20 minutes. And let's see if it gave us anything else to be hopeful about. Yep, got a little more here. Let's see if there's anything higher after that. Nope. So the max on this trade so far, again, it's only been, let's see, 1 day and 11 hours in, it would have gotten you to 2.10%. So obviously, again, this is the kind of thing you have to assess for yourself what you're willing to take. And you would have been bleeding out here to the tune of a drawdown of about 4.53%. If you stick that out and you've got that kind of trading courage, I don't usually, you could have ridden it to 2-point-something%, but you're riding out that drawdown. In the meantime, you're not in other trades. Again, this is only about a 24-hour period. So in the kind of traditional scheme of what people trade and how long they may stay in trades, that's not any time at all if you're a stock trader. But in a crypto world, things move fast. We had another signal come in after that also represented our drawdown, but we had one come in at 3:31 p.m. on the 9th. I'm sorry, that last trade had been done for about 48 hours. 3:31 p.m. on the 9th, and had an immediate drawdown of about 1.6%. Got to 1.72% in 1 hour and 34 minutes. And looks like our peak on this one so far in 1 day and 6 hours is 5.22%. That's a little better than the previous one. This one started on the 9th at 3:48 p.m. Bounced quickly in 1 hour and 16 minutes to 2.57%. You could have hit my magical 1.25% mark within about 44 minutes. 3.07% on that. I hate when that happens. Let's try this again. Yep, there's our peak. 5.92%, 1 day, 6 hours, 34 minutes. All right, we're moving on to MITH, MITH, USDT. This one's only had one trade in the last 5 or so days. Previous to this was June 27th, but this one's a bit of a doozy. So we had a tier 1 signal on the 9th at 11:26 a.m. We very quickly got over 1.25% within 11 minutes. Within 1 hour and 44 minutes, we were at 4.15%. We had no drawdown whatsoever so far on this one. Then 4.48%. Let's see where this little wick got us to. 5.76% in 4 hours. Dipped back down a little bit there for a bit, and then we popped into 6.29% in 9 hours. 10 hours and 47 minutes brought us to 8.03%. And we hit up to 9.5% in 12 hours and 27 minutes. Look at this nice steady kind of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then we had a nice big dip. Still not in the red though. Even at its lowest point, after topping that 3% level, we're at 3.48%. So if you had your trailing on, you would have had to have a big set on the negative side on that trailing profit. But if you rode this one out or took half your money off the table early on, you could have rode this bad boy out to a peak of 29.11% in 15 hours. The coin that's only had about one signal in the last 4 or 5 days, NEO, USDT. NEO's a little bit higher volume coin. Still lower volume in terms of, looking at like a BTC or an ETH, but a little more stable than your average bear. So this one signaled on the 9th at 11:25 a.m. and rose up to 1.47% right away. So if you were taking those Brad bought 1.25% signals, you would have closed out there, or you would have turned on your trailing. 1.77% in 17 minutes. 2.19% in 1 hour and 42 minutes. Nice dip. There was also, by the way, some drawdown on this one, 0.99%. Now, after you hit those levels, you would be looking at another dip down from 2.21% to 0.08%. So you'd have to be able to sustain that dip. But if you had, you would have gotten to a peak of 3.25% in about 5 hours. We have a love-hate relationship with Celer, C-E-L-R. Maybe it's Celer. I have no idea. I do believe it was a Binance launched coin, but launchpad coin, but volumes are sketchy. Lots of volatility. We've made money on it, and we've bled out on it. So approach this one with caution, and we're going to look back starting with a signal on July the 5th at 3:39 a.m. This one's going to show you how the volatility can be pretty crazy with some of these. So this one comes in, draws down immediately to 0.78%. With a wick up to 2.04%. So if you're smart with this one, you take your profits quickly. You can get out, and then you don't get burned when it really starts bleeding out. This one bled out here within 10 hours and 27 minutes to draw down to 5.81%. Obviously, you're going to see some recovery after that, but it's pretty bad. Now, that said, you ride this one out, and there's some profits up here to be made. Let me get to the max. Where's my bar? Where's my line? Where's my line? There it is. So if you rode this one out for, I believe it was 5 or 6 days, this was the high point across this time frame from the 5th through today. So it could be up to 7 days. I'll have to look at when that happened. But you're looking at a 33.88% gain. If you rode this one out to, here we are. Let's see how that, to the 10th. So that's over our 5-day limit, I believe. We're going to look now. Yeah, 5 days, 18 hours. So you wouldn't have gotten that if you closed this thing out at 5 days. Again, that's up to you. But, there was profit to be made on this thing when it starts bouncing back around. So it's kind of a, as I said, it's a love-hate relationship with this coin, because you'll be able to see gains, but you're also going to see some serious bleed before it gets there. I'm not going to do that tier 2 because it's about the same. Let's see how soon we would have gotten to some better profit. 1 day, 5 hours, 13%. See? So you could bail on it, and then it's going to come back and give you more love sometimes. You can't count on it. Let's see what this one did. 2 days, 22 hours in, 15.43%. Again, sellers just, it's a crazy pair. Trade's crazy. I'm assuming there's some manipulation there, but you know. July 5th at 2:07 p.m. You know, you're at 4.82% within 6 hours and 3 minutes. You're at 11.9% in 18 hours. Nice profit there. And you're at 19.62% in 1 day, 2 hours and 55 minutes. So again, and this is with a tiny bit of drawdown on that one. So again, there's money to be made with this coin, but it will bleed you. So you've got to approach with care and caution, because it will get you. Then let's see. There we go. This one started out at 14:06, so 2:06 p.m. on the 5th. And look at that sparse volume. 3.78%. 5.62% in 6 hours. Got a wick. 7.96% in 11 hours. 13.35% in 19 hours. Oh, look at that bad boy wick. 20%, 20.13% in 1 day, 2 hours and 56 minutes. And we're going to have similar for the one next to it. Well, let's see what else we got with this one. Let me enlarge these candles a little bit. So this one started out at 11:24 a.m. on the 9th of July. Quick bounce to 3% within 26 minutes. Nice payoff if you get out there. 4.36% in 1 hour and 46 minutes. A dip back down here, close to where we bought, and then a pop back up to 4.78% in 5 hours and 49 minutes. Ride it out, 10%, 11.64%, and up here at the peak, 18.84%. 18.72%. Oh, look at this. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. And a peak on this one of 22.08%, and you're looking at getting there in a day and 10 hours. You know, if you can stomach this dangerous coin, you can make some high percentage gains on it, but you got to be careful. On the last 5 to 7 days, we've gotten one signal on OMG USDT, and here it is. This was on the 9th at 11:24 a.m. This one immediately popped up to a 1.43% profit, stayed in that range and bounced a little more to 1.75, 1.96. That was in 3 hours and 7 minutes. We're looking at 2.69% in 7 hours and 57 minutes. And that was on the 9th at 11:22 a.m. And let's see what it did. Again, you can see by looking at these candles that the volume is sparse. Look at the volume bars at the bottom. This is not a coin where you can bet, you know, $150,000 and fill your trade. It's probably just not going to happen. 1.83% in 58 minutes. 2.48% in 6 hours and 57 minutes. And then we had a peak so far. Again, it's only been a couple of days. A peak so far in this one of 4.18%. So we're at Nano USDT and ANO USDT. This coin has had only one signal since the 5th. 1.60% gain within 9 minutes. That's a nice little tidy profit, very quick. 2.97% at 1 hour and 36 minutes. Moving on to ONT USDT. ONT USDT's only had one signal in the last 5 or 6 days. This one on the 9th at 11:23. You'll also notice these sometimes coincide with drops in Bitcoin. So we often will get a flurry of signals after that happens. This one immediately bounced up to a 0.91, but that's really not where we want it to be. 0.69. And then we hit a drawdown of 1.54% in 4 hours. So this one's just kind of hanging out there. Then it starts to revive itself a bit, gets all the way up to 1.44% within 7 hours and 21 minutes, reaches a 2.19% gain in 8 hours and 30 minutes. And I think that's the, oh, no, here we go. We got a little bit more gain. About to close out here. Oh, let's see. Up to 4.45% in 1 day, 11 hours, and 45 minutes. Let's take a look at ICXUSDT, also known as ICON. No idea what its purpose is, but since we're not value investing, don't really care. On the 8th of July at 8:55 a.m., this coin popped up in 4 minutes for a 3.54% profit. 6.77% in 2 days, 16 hours, and 59 minutes. But you could have quickly pocketed in 4 minutes. Nice chunk of profit and not stayed in that coin forever. Then your funds aren't tied up. So our next one is on the 8th as well at 12:32 p.m. And within 4 hours and 50 minutes, you were looking at 5.67% profit. Even if you took it at this one, you're at 4.5% profit in 3 hours and 49 minutes. And obviously along the way here, you're going to hit your 1.25% profit. This one on the 8th at 10 o'clock p.m. Had a quick return up to 1.88% profit, which is an adequate number of profit at the very beginning and the outset. Had a nice little dip, popped back up to 3.48%, and then 4.19% in 5 hours and 41 minutes. And a nice little wick up to 5.57% in 6 hours and 6 minutes. So again, that one's closing fast with some decent levels of profit right away. This one's on the 9th at 11:23 a.m. And we would have seen a 11-minute 3.23% profit. Again, nice chunk of profit. You don't have to keep your money locked up or tied up. 2 hours and 9 minutes at 3.61%. And let's see. Oh, let's take it over here a little. 4.76% in 3 hours and 39 minutes. Again, not a long lockup time for your money, but when you're looking at 11 minutes versus hours, do you want to play other trades? There were a lot of trades. Sometimes we go, an entire day without a trade. Signal alert. That's rare, but it does happen. 6.5% in 7 hours and 14 minutes. See if we've had any more signals since then. Nope. No more signals since then on ICXUSDT. Matic USDT. This is a Binance Launchpad coin that has some sketchy volume, does decently. It has been really erratic for us in the past. We've had some really strong, highly profitable trades, beginning of the year. And then we also had some really bad bleeders on this coin. And this one came in on the 9th at 11:03 a.m. And, within 5 minutes, you were at 1.15%. Within 12 minutes, 1.22%. But still, that's not my preferred first profit level on this coin at 1.25%. And then you've got a drawdown of 2.53%. And as nervous as Matic makes me, I don't know if I would have stayed in it. Back to the 1.22%. And then within 2 hours and 20 minutes, we hit the 1.85% level. In 6 hours and 14 minutes, we hit 3.24%. And wow. And we had a nice little pump here on the 10th. and that took it to 6.48%. So that was in 1 day and 58 minutes. All right, we're on Link USDT. One signal over the last 5 days. Again, on the 9th. The 9th was an incredibly busy day, and you've got to balance out how many trades you want to get into on those days when it really is popping. So 2.42.6, let's see, 2.42% at 15 minutes on that trade. Nice chunk of profit very quickly. Then bounced down again to a 1.55% drawdown. But then popped right back up and hit 6.19% in 1 hour and 26 minutes. Again, if you can take those rises and falls and stay with it, there was more money to be made. It just depends on how long you want to stick that stuff out. And if you're on a trailing profit, you're probably going to get closed out anyway. So I don't think that Chainlink, oh yeah, well, we had a little higher peak here. I was wrong. There's a shocker. So peaked out at, let's see what we got. 7.9% in 1 day, 10 hours. We're on ZIL USDT. Zalika, I guess is how you pronounce that. Not sure about the branding on that one. Signal on the 5th at 5:16 p.m. So let's see what we get to. Immediately out of the gate, you got a 3.29% profit in 22 minutes. That's really hard to argue with. And even if you had turned on your trailing at 1.25, you probably would have been hanging in there for this one. Had a lot of jumpy volatility here with some dips. Let's see. If you were at 3.29, oh, let's try 1.25. Well, we know that. So if you were taking your profit at 3.29, you would have had a dip from that a little less than a whole point. So your trailing would have had to have been a little bit higher there. 4.62% in 1 hour and 32 minutes. 3 hours and 18 minutes in at 7.30%. Then we really started to peak up here at 8.87% in 11 hours and 22 minutes. Still short of half a day on that one. A couple of days. 20% in 2 days, 5 hours and 32 minutes. Again, you're making the assumption that you're going to stick with it, and you very well may not. Let's see what the other signal was for this one. On the 8th at 10:39 p.m., immediate drawdown to 1.86%, bounce back up to 1.6%. Up to 2.30%, and within 4 hours hit 4.38%. All right, next up is Hot USDT or HOLO. Again, no clue what this token is. July 6th, 12:36 a.m. Immediate 9.36% profit in 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's pretty golden. Now, would you have gotten to 1.98% and stayed in? 4.10% and stayed in? 5.55% and stayed in? All of these had slight downs after, but there was only a 0.85% drawdown. Now, let's see where we get to at peak on the 5-day. I know we do higher than that. And peak on the 5-day, oh man, this is a monster trade. 53.48% in 2 days, 21 hours, and 37 minutes. That's a good place to keep your money. Of course, it could have gone the other direction, right? And would you have stayed in when this dumped from 5.87%, you know, still not on a negative or a drawdown. So would you let it ride? Are you that kind of trader? I don't know. Would you have stayed in after you hit 5.12% after 2 hours and 32 minutes? Would you have stayed in after you hit, oh, I guess I have to lock it, 5.75% after 2 days, 4 hours, and 3 minutes. You know, that's really the question here. Over an extended period of time, are you staying in this trade when it's at 20%, when it's at 30%, 40%, and 50%? Are you going to hang with it? That's the real question. Trailing probably wouldn't have worked unless you set some really deep parameters on this thing. I mean, 5.77% drop. So you're down to whatever, 14.3%, 5.23% profit. How many people are going to say, you know what, I think this has got more, until it gets all the way there? But anyway, still a powerful trade. Take your profit, let it ride if you want. But end of the day, that's a nice return. I don't think we're going to have quite the level of monster returns here, but we're going to give this one a shot. This one came in on the 9th at 9:51 p.m. and within 4 hours and 17 minutes hit 5.51%. And within 54 minutes was at 2.18%, 2.43% in 1 hour. Dipping back down. There's some drawdown. Let's see. 1.73% drop. All right, moving on to EOS. This is a much higher volume coin, much more kind of accepted in the market. This hit on the 5th and went up 1.29% in 6 minutes. Some might just take that profit and run. Then you were at 1.86% in 21 minutes, 2.69% in 59 minutes, 3.64% just above an hour and a half, 4.56% in 3 hours and 59 minutes, 4.79% in 4 hours and 44 minutes. I don't know that your trailing would have hung in there, but potentially with your settings it could have. 5%, 6.02%, 9 hours and 44 minutes to get to 7.18%. 16 hours and 17 minutes to get to 9.74%. We crossed the 10% threshold, a good 19 hours in. 14.06% in 2 days, 6 hours and 43 minutes. On July 5th again, Monero, 12:54 p.m. So on your lunch break, you could lock in 1.54% profit in 33 minutes. 2.04% profit in 59 minutes. 2.59% profit in 3 hours and 5 minutes. 3.57, 5 hours and 45 minutes. 15 hours and 8 minutes to 5.07. I think that's pretty much our peak. Oh, looks like we got a couple more higher plays. Let's see what this got us. 9.79% in 2 days, 20 hours, and 57 minutes. Seems like these more stable coins, higher velocity coins. Oh, look at that. All right, so we see now here that it went significantly over 10%. So if this is our 10% mark, so 11.94, almost 12%. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for another MTF USDT recap. Hope this helps you. The tips we give and the ideas and thoughts about these trades we give you really make you think about how you're using MTF and what it can do for you.